it's really nice. We had a lot of benefits. We just wanted to make sure we were able to keep them. And with CWA's help, I think we were able to do that.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
We've got a caller on the line. Whit Sides is calling from a 205 area code. We're going to talk to her. We like to do a union profile during this time slot every Saturday morning. If you're a member of a union and you would like to see your union profiled, please let us know at tvlr.fm/contact. We want to we want to do what we can to profile folks in the labor movement in the South. Talk about the work that they are doing. Whit Sides is an employee for Alabama Arise, a progressive nonprofit advocacy organization in Alabama. She is Alabama Arise's storyteller. She's a writer and journalist in Birmingham, and she spent more than a decade working in media and advertising before returning to college as a new mom. She earned a BA in mass communication from the University of Alabama in Birmingham. She's got strong roots in rural Northwest Alabama. And comes from a family of union members, and also she was part of the union campaign at Alabama Arise, unionizing with CWA Local 3908. Whit, welcome to the program. Really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you for having me.
Really looking forward to the conversation. Before we talk about the union stuff, you recently got a new position at Alabama Arise. You have been doing you've been storytelling around Medicaid and you know the need for Medicaid expansion, and now you're going to be splitting your time 50-50 between continuing to do that work and also working with Adam on the Worker Power campaign and telling workers' stories across the state. What is that role going to look like, and what can we expect from you in the next few years?
Yeah, so for the past 5 years, can't believe it, doesn't feel like it's been 5 years, but yeah, I've been working on our collecting stories from folks all across Alabama for our Cover Alabama campaign, which advocates for Medicaid expansion. Over the past year, I've been able to slightly expand that role and be able to talk to families who have actually benefited from Medicaid. So not just uninsured folks and folks in the Medicaid coverage gap, which for your listeners, I'm sure Adam talks about it a lot, but the Medicaid coverage gap is Alabama is a non-expansion state. So we haven't expanded Medicaid. So if you're a worker and you make slightly too much to be eligible for Medicaid, but you can't quite afford private insurance or your employer doesn't offer it, then you're in the gap. And there was, during my tenure at Arise, I think the highest number of folks has been somewhere around like 350,000 Alabamians at one time in the gap. It's awful. But yeah, so I've been working on that, collecting stories. And then recently, I was given the opportunity to expand my role and start talking to workers across the state. And so as we know at Arise, we work on lots of different policy issues, whether it's criminal justice, workers' rights, Medicaid expansion, SNAP and hunger-related advocacy. So it feels like we've been collecting those stories for a long time now, and I'm excited to make it official.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really glad to have you as a part of that campaign, and looking forward to hopefully our work overlapping more over the next few years. But you know, we're a union radio program, and so we wanted to talk to you about the union at Alabama Arise. Y'all just ratified a new collective bargaining agreement. Can you talk to us about why you decided to support the union campaign at Alabama Arise? It doesn't sound like you hate your job. And so, you know, a lot of people have this idea that, oh, to unionize, if you unionize, that means you hate your job, you hate your boss. Is that true? Do you hate the people at Alabama Arise?
Absolutely not. So I would say I'm comfortably middle-aged. I turn 40 next year, and Arise is definitely the best job I've ever had and the best people I've ever worked for. And so joining a union for me, you mentioned a little bit about how, I come from a family of people that have been in unions. I talked to my dad, a couple of weeks ago, and I am at least the third generation of unionized workers in my family on both sides. They're coal miners, shipbuilders. My grandmother worked in an egg factory and later at a metal shop. So, I feel a deep connection to that personally. So when the prospect of organizing our shop came up, I guess I was with it from the start. But to your point, yeah, I think being a part of this unionizing campaign and getting our contract just sort of solidifies. If you've got a good thing, let's try to keep it. Let's codify it in language. Let's make it official. And all of the benefits that you get, like this is just not a small example, but an example. Our office is very generous since we've worked pretty hard during the legislative session. We'll get breaks where our office was sort of informally closed during certain weeks. And so, we really loved having that. We got used to it. And as part of our contract, we were able to put it in language. And so now we can actually formally plan around those days. So it's really nice. We had a lot of benefits. We just wanted to make sure we were able to keep them. And with CWA's help, I think we were able to do that.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
That is awesome. And what would you say is the thing in the contract that you're most excited to have in writing? Do you think it's that vacation in the summer?
Well, that's nice. I mean, there's another thing that, you mentioned, you don't have to, just unionize when things are bad. So we get a lot of there are a lot of good perks for working for Arise and not just being part of, the worker power movement. I would say admin wise, like being able to have additional leave now. So, we have leave, we had PTO, we had sick time, and we had a few other leave, but I think we were able to get at least an additional week, maybe even more. I think a couple of weeks, depending on what kind of leave it is. So now we have leave if you need to go to court, if you would like to volunteer in your community, if someone in your family is a victim of domestic or sexual violence. Like, all you got to do is say, like, oh, I'm taking this leave, and you have it, and it doesn't go, it doesn't use up other forms of leave that you have. Right. So, yeah, we're incredibly lucky. We get voting leave, too. Like, yeah. Like I said, I believe we're spoiled.
Well, that's great. I love to hear it. And I've been a member of Alabama Arise for a long time. You can join Alabama Arise if you want. You can go to alarise.org. And so as a member of Alabama Arise, I was so happy to see the organization as an employer treat its employees with so much respect throughout this process. They voluntarily recognized y'all when you, as the employees, went to management and said, we've decided to form a union. Even a lot of progressive nonprofits will say, well, we don't respect what you're telling us right now. We're going to put you through this whole election process with the NLRB. And while that is going on, we're going to bombard you with all of the reasons why you shouldn't unionize. Alabama Arise never did that. They respected you through the bargaining process, and it came out with a good contract that it sounds like everybody is really happy with. And so, I've been really happy to see that from the organization as an employer, as a member myself. As we're wrapping up, Whit, is there anything else that you would want to leave the audience with as far as, your experience with your family in the labor movement, or your experience during the campaign, ratifying the contract, or anything else that you'd want to talk about?
Yeah, I think it's important that at Arise, like you said, they set the example, our leadership did, and voluntarily recognized us during a time where you see sort of the infrastructure for labor rights, federally and all the protections sort of disappearing around us. And so they set the example. Our board has been extremely affirming too. They'll reach out and they'll say, I'm so glad to see this happen. Good for y'all. And it feels like, they didn't have to do that. And like you mentioned, I've had I know folks that work for similar sized organizations that do advocacy work who didn't have the same blessings that we had throughout the experience. And so, it was, it's been kind of a remarkable experience to not just be born into a union family where I knew that my ancestors fought hard and worked hard. They worked in dangerous conditions. My grandfather died of black lung. To feel like I was welcome and part of a union while working, like a professional nonprofit job. I didn't know that was going to be an opportunity for me, and I've been a part of it. But I think the biggest thing for your listeners to know is that Alabama Rise is unique in a way that we take what our members vote on, the issues that they care about, and that's what we pursue for the rest of the year. We make that happen. And so worker power is one of those. And so, as soon as I, signed my union card, as soon as I looked at my contract, I see all the things that have been offered to us, and I sort of take the good news out with me into the world, and we take the solidarity out with us. Now my job is going to be collecting stories of workers all across Alabama. So whatever your issue is, whether it's tough working conditions, whether you don't believe you're being paid well, whether you're having transportation issues, you're having healthcare issues, nothing happens in a vacuum. And so I am in a unique position to be able to share your stories as part of the work that Alabama Rise does. What a blessing,
Yeah, Whit Sides, really appreciate your time. Employee at Alabama Rise, member of CWA Local 3908. We've got to roll, but thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it, John.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.